Good evening, everyone. Welcome, and thank you for joining us. This is Shockoe Sessions Live. It's a weekly live video streaming concert series promoting Richmond's vibrant music scene from the comfort of your own home. We're here because performing musicians' careers are on hold, and they need us to spread the word about what we're doing here. They need you to spread the word about what we're doing here. I'm your host, Reese Williams, and each week we're proudly showcasing a different performer live from In Your Ear's amazing Studio A. So make plans to join us every Tuesday at 7:30 for Shockoe Sessions Live. Grab a refreshment, snuggle up to your pet, grab a friend in that order. As I said, this is about music, which ebbs and flows. So first and foremost, we'd like to take just a quick moment and recognize the passing of Velpo Robertson. He was a legendary Richmond guitarist. We lost him yesterday. He was instrumental in the Robin Thompson Band, and we just want to dedicate this show to him this evening. We lost a good one. We lost a legend. But tonight, we are honored with the performance of Michael Lille. Good evening. He is a Virginia native. He's an award-winning singer-songwriter. He's traveled the globe and shared his music and love of adventure with friends and fans for over 4 decades. But he looks good for his age, I have to say. He's won the 1993 Kerrville New Folk Songwriting Award, as well as first place winner in the Telluride Troubadour competition in 1996. That's different than a matador, right?
Maybe.
Okay. He's also a member of the Sherpas, SGGL, the popular DC Charlottesville bass quartet, and Man from Tuesday with San Diego-based songwriter Andy Lund. Lille was also 1/3 of the famous Unknowns with fellow Virginia musicians Robin Thompson and Louis McGehee. Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
We're happy to have you here. Absolutely.
I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah, I think we should just start the show, kick us off with some tunes, and let's set the tone.
All right. I'm going to like to start with one that was actually on that famous Unknowns project, which was with, as you mentioned, Louis McGehee and Robin Thompson. So this one's called A Childhood Dream. What I would give to one day have lived in the days of the wild old West. It's a chance to redeem a childhood dream, the one that every boy knew the best. Maybe I would have played the piano in a honky-tonk saloon, a little whiskey on my breath and a little out of tune. At closing time I'd settle up just as they dim the light and spend it on a game of cards or a woman for the night. Would I would give to one day have lived in the days of the wild old West. It's a chance to redeem a childhood dream, the one that every boy knew the best. Well, I might have been a family man, and we'd lived off family land with 2 sons and a daughter and a wife to hold my hand. A piece of sky in North Montana, 40 miles from town. And every night I'd thank the Lord when I lay my children down, lay 'em down. Well, I could have been an outlaw, a man on the run, a man who spoke his mind with the trigger of a gun. From town to town with reputation never far behind, where life could turn to death any day or any time. What I would give to one day have lived in the days of the wild old west. It's a chance to redeem a childhood dream, where a boy was not a man until the test.
We're not the only ones in the studio tonight. We have myself as the host, we have our performer, and we have our little makeshift gallery this evening, who we'll be speaking to a little later.
There they are.
I kind of like being in a room and being the only woman with just a room full of strapping men. This is working for me, so just going to put that out there. Let me ask you real quick, Michael, how many guitars did you bring for yourself as a solo performer this evening?
4 guitars and a banjo, so that would be 4.5.
Got you. It's not the round guitars we talked about earlier.
Yeah, I had to disguise it in the case.
Let's keep the music going before I start gabbing and getting into everything else.
I'm only going to play one. Like I said, I haven't played a gig in 4 months, so I just thought I would grab as many guitars as I could fit. Absolutely.
We talked about this last week when we did tech rehearsal, that our performer said she hadn't done a sound check in 3 months, and so things are just odd, which is why we're here. So.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Take a little sippy sip. Mm-hmm. And let the music begin.
All right, so this is one that was on the last solo record I did called Suitable Disguise. And I co-wrote this with a guy who we lost a couple of years ago, a great songwriter named Jimmy LaFave. Jimmy, most folks know him from the Austin area, but he was a native, he was an Okie, he was from Oklahoma, but very, very active in the Woody Guthrie Foundation and fabulous songwriter. This is the only song he and I ever got a chance to get together and write, and it's called Don't Have to Love You Anymore. You were a melody unchained. You left my heart rearranged. This was the best thing you could do. Now I'm certain that we're through. I didn't really want to know, but it helped me let you go. I could see it in your eyes. I shouldn't be surprised. The dice will roll. But you chose another. Now I don't have to love you anymore. Nobody's right, nobody's wrong. It's just my time for moving on. Though you and I will never be, there's still a little left of me. If you were here with me tonight, there'd be a different song I'd write. With every color of the wheel, everything I'd ever feel for you inside. But you chose another, now I don't have to love you anymore. Though I know that you're not mine, I'll see you round from time to time. That letting go is not so bad, of a love you've never had. melody unchained. You know my heart's still rearranged. Sometimes the best things we do can turn another's world so blue. And I think I'd know what it means to let you go. The spotlight hits my eyes, tell myself another lie, on with the show. But you chose another, and I don't have to love you. You chose another, you'll never be my lover. You chose another, and I don't have to love you anymore. Don't have to love you anymore.
This is so exciting. We have your amazing talent, and then we have all of the excitement of everyone who's chiming in online. So I'm not being rude and staring at my phone while there's a live broadcast. There's actually a purpose. As I mentioned, you have your 4.5 guitars, your 4 guitars, and your round guitar. Somebody has asked, can you tell us the make and model of each guitar?
Why, certainly. The first one I played was made by a guy named David Weber.
2 Bs.
2 Bs, please, which is very appropriate for these walls. A little homage to our friend Robin Thompson. David Weber, W-E-B-B-E-R. And the reason I mentioned 2 Bs is because there's a very well-known mandolin company called Weber with 1 B. This guy, David, is a very small, he's not a small man, but he builds about a dozen guitars a year out of North Vancouver in British Columbia.
Small operation.
Yes, it's a small operation. Thank you. And he's a really fantastic luthier and quite an outdoorsman. I got the chance to meet him up in Vancouver and fell in love with that little maple cedar guitar. And then the last one I played was an Academy nylon made by Taylor Guitars, where I was an employee for about 8 years. And the one that I've just lifted and put on my knee is a custom Taylor baritone. Grand Symphony body shape, rosewood and spruce. I could go way down the rabbit hole of guitar nerddom, so I won't do that. But this one's also a Taylor but from their custom shop.
Geek out. Well,
Yeah,
our gallery is full of musicians, and I heard someone asking you earlier about the baritone. I guess it's an unusual juxtaposition of...
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I think it's just an unusual juxtaposition of being a baritone and acoustic as well, correct?
Exactly. You generally see a lot of baritone electric guitars. It's less common to see an acoustic baritone. It's a longer scale length between the saddle and the nut, which gives it, this is about a 27-inch, which expands it and gives you a heavier gauge string, and therefore tunes it down way lower. So this, we're going to have a low B note. Thank you. So it's got a low B on the bottom.
Matthew's an octopus at this
he
point.
He is. I saw him. He barely
handling
left his
the board,
shoes to
the
do
camera.
that.
Yeah.
So on a standard tune guitar, this 5th string on this guitar would be your lowest note, which is an E note. But on a baritone, you're basically taking one of the high strings off off this guitar, adding another low string. So you get a B, which I can barely sing. So it goes all the way down to B. Yeah.
So you have a fascination with, how many do you own in general?
Well, we don't really count.
How evasive. How evasive. You're not married.
Well,
it's not like you have to explain yourself.
That's a very good point. I just sold it, not just, but 2 years ago I sold about 20 guitars when I moved from a brick and mortar living space to a motorhome where I live most of the time now, and so I just couldn't turn it into a guitar museum. I also had to sleep there and cook there. And
you're too long for a case.
Exactly. I got rid of a lot of guitars. So I don't know. I kept a dozen or so.
And since you love them, I know you have a good story about a guitar.
I do. Well,
musicians get attached to their instruments.
They do. God, when I worked for Taylor for those 8 years, I hosted a lot of these events called road shows, and we would get anywhere from 30 to 130 guys would show up, and people would show up, and they were guitar collectors, guitar players, and I saw a variety of T-shirts with that exact sentiment. One woman, many guitars. And the question was, how many guitars does one guy need? And the answer, of course, is just one more. So, I'll tell you a guitar story. Kyle will appreciate this. My pal Kyle Davis, who's here with us tonight. So I was a huge Dan Fogelberg fan growing up. He was one of the first singer-songwriters that I heard that I just really loved the way he played, the way he sang. And it was his second album that was produced by Joe Walsh. It was called Souvenirs. And so I went and saw him a number of times in concert. And one of the times he was playing this big Guild 412, I believe was the model. It's a giant jumbo maple 12-string with a beveled back and a double truss rod. I mean, you could. It's a weapon and a guitar, and it just sounded huge. And he played it in a like an open D tuning for a solo concert. And I said, I have to have one of those guitars. So I, at the time, was working at a guitar shop down in Norfolk, Virginia, and they got one in stock, and I got a good deal on it. And I used it a lot, and used it on some records and played live with it for years. And I moved out to Aspen in '83, and through a funny set of circumstances, I became friends with Dan and met him, and he started coming into gigs where I was playing solo gigs, and I would bring an extra guitar for him to play, and he would just sit in and play guitar, and I was kind of pinching myself, wondering if this is really happening, and so I'd always bring that 12-string, and I'd kind of leave it in the stand back there, and every now and then I'd make kind of a big deal to reach back and pick it up, and waiting for him to say, oh, I have one of those. And he never said a thing. And I was just like, oh, come on, man. Just compliment my guitar, please. And finally, one night after about the fourth time we got together and played, I was putting it in the case. And I was going, I'm just going to put this old Guild back in the case. Like, how obvious do I have to be? And he said, I used to have one of those. I hated that guitar. And I was heartbroken. I was crushed.
You were hoping for dueling 12 strings.
I know. So I sold it. I said, yeah, I'm getting rid of mine too. Which I eventually
And when you say
did.
big G, it was physically big.
It was a jumbo body shape, had a really big lower bout, and like I said, giant, 12 tuners on it. It was a beast. Kyle remembers that guitar.
Pros don't want to lug those around.
Yeah, it was a great guitar, but it was so big of a sound that he couldn't. I don't think he hated the guitar. If anyone from Guild is watching, I think
we are looking for sponsors. Yeah. If anyone's curious.
I think it was just too big to get a live sound out of it. It was just too much guitar, and they had really trouble controlling the EQ on it. And I know he continued to play a Guild 12-string. I think he got a rosewood model later, which is a little warmer, a little darker. The maple is a very bright tone wood. So, well,
let's get back to those beautiful sounds, ladies and gentlemen.
This is a rosewood guitar.
Michael Lille, play for us again.
Thank you, Reese. So I'm going to play on this baritone. This is a song that I co-wrote with two very dear friends, Tom Kimmel and Tom Prasada Rao. And we have a trio called the Sherpas. This song's called I Can't Get You Out of My System. Go out walking and you follow me. I feel your shadow at my back. And you're supposed to be a memory, but no one's satisfied with that. You left to find another life on another coast. You disappear, and I'm still here, living with your ghost. But I concede impossibility, but I guess I fell too far. And I can say this hurt don't bother me, but I can't conceal the scar. I know better, but my heart just won't listen, 'cause I can't get you out of my system. I hear you breathing when I close my eyes. I see you dancing in the rain. hear your laughter on the street outside. I see you leaving on the train. The time should bring an end to things, but we go on and on. And I should be back on my feet, but I'm not that strong. And I concede impossibility, but I guess I fell too far. And I can say the hurt don't bother me, but I can't conceal the scar. I know better, but my heart just won't listen. I can't get you out of my system. But I'm not saying I'm not crazy, and I've been that from the start. But I can't see how to let you go, but I'm still right here in the dark. Time should bring an end to things, but we go on and on. And I should be back on my feet, but I'm not that strong. I concede impossibility, but I guess I fell too far. I can say the hurt don't bother me, but I can't conceal the scar. I know better, but my heart, well, it won't listen. 'Cause I can't get you out of my system. I know better, but my heart just won't listen. I can't get you out of my system.
Fantastic. Fantastic, fantastic.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you once again, everyone who's tuning in. This is Shockoe Sessions Live, and we're doing this because musicians' careers are on hiatus at the moment. We'd love to give local musicians an amazing space to be able to perform. I think the couch sessions and the kitchen sessions, they all have their time and their place, and we love that everyone's moving forward with wanting to entertain, but Studio A is just impeccable, and we've been getting incredible response. You know, great acoustics, studio looks great, sounds great, looks great, and sounds fabulous. So everyone is really enjoying. Again, I'm Reese Williams, and the musicians need us to help support them right now. So use the donate links, use all the stuff that's at the bottom of your screen there. Invite everyone you know. I'll challenge you to invite 5 people right now. Join us every Tuesday at 7:30 because we're going to have a new local performer every week. And maybe one of those new performers is in our gallery, Kyle Davis. Hello. Look at us socially responsible, social distancing here in the studio.
I think that's Kyle Davis.
I think we've secretly replaced Kyle Davis. with. But yeah, so this is just a great opportunity for local musicians to, keep that muscle memory going so that we don't get out of the habit of what's going on. That can absolutely happen. Let us know if you have more questions for the artist, if you have questions for us. We're in Your Ear Studios in Studio A. Beautiful picking and great songs you got. Tell us about the tattoo.
Wow.
Well, you've got a couple, I see.
Yeah, well, the ones they're probably looking at, maybe, I don't know. I have my dogs' names. They were my dogs. They're no longer with us, but they're tattooed on my arm here. This is a guitar tattoo, obviously. This is a motorcycle. I spend most time either on a guitar or on a motorcycle, it seems like. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Huck and Crosby, they were my Goldens. Huck Crosby named after the singer-songwriter, of course, David Crosby. Not Bing. No offense to Bing. That's what my mother said when I called her and told her I got a new dog and I named him Crosby. She said, after Bing? Yeah, sure, Mom.
But truly, we are so grateful that everyone's tuning in. We can't wait until this thing grows and people are just knocking down the door to be the one to perform. We're so excited. So let's get back to why we're here. Let's hear some more music. Michael Lille.
Well, thank you. And I just want to reiterate what you said and really thank the folks at In Your Ear and Shockoe Sessions Live for inviting me out tonight to play. And yeah, it has been a tough time for everybody, but a lot of my musician friends, we're sort of out of work and everybody's finding different things to do. You've seen a crazy blossom of online performances and people finding new ways to write songs. And I've been teaching a lot of guitar lessons, which I've been really enjoying actually, and working in a little home studio. I thought I was the last guy on the planet to actually have a home studio, and I saw the great bass player Leland Sklar the other day admit that he was jumping into the world of home recording, and I could not believe that Leland Sklar, who's played on thousands of records, everything from Billy Cobham to Phil Collins to all the singer-songwriters of the 70s, he said he was going to take the plunge, and so I felt like, okay, maybe I was second to last. So I'd like to do another song. This is an Ohm banjo, O-M-E. It's a company, another small company out of Boulder, Colorado. But I found this instrument in a guitar shop in Canada, actually, in Ottawa, the capital of Canada, at Lausanne Music, my good friends over there. And somehow this banjo had found its way all the way up into Ottawa and was on consignment. And I just picked it up, and it's an open back, sort of an Appalachian banjo, so it doesn't have the bluegrass resonator on it. Another song that I wrote with the Sherpas. We have a whole new record of songs we want to record, and we actually had the dates planned, and we were ready to go in the studio, and it all stopped. So this is called Testament.
For 14 days and 14 nights, we move in the dark and we hide in the light, 'cause everybody knows when it comes to a fight, someone's bound to lose. The good book says you reap what you sow. The last will be first, not the first one to go. And when you're gonna go, when you can't go home, and no one waits for you, and heaven knows what is right, but this weary bird in flight needs to know when it's safe to come down. Heaven knows what is right, but this weary
bird in flight needs to know when it's safe to come down. So who's gonna rise? Who's gonna fall? And who's gonna turn away from us all? And who's gonna come when they hear the call? And the angels sing. I had a dream, keeps me awake. The ghost of a moon sets on a lake, and then it rides to the shore on a silver wave, and washes over me. And heaven knows what is right, but this weary bird in flight save his soul with all his might, swinging low just out of sight, needs to know when it's safe to come down.
We've got a lot of banjo love out there.
Yeah?
Oh yeah. Somebody says
A little bit of banjo love goes a long way.
The round guitar, as it's called. Somebody said, love the claw hammer banjo. Somebody says, thanks for keeping our spirits lifted with your music. Oh, somebody recognized you, Craig, the red shoe guy. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Shockoe Session Live. Of course, we're going to be here every Tuesday at 7:30, so please settle in, grab your refreshment, grab your pet, grab your spouse in that order, as I say. Donate if you so desire. We've got all the links on the event page. Share on your social channels. It doesn't take much at all. Just click the little dots. Boom, it's shared. You mentioned, Michael, that one of your dogs is named after Crosby, Crosby, Stills, Nash.
Yeah, David Crosby, right?
I believe there's an interesting story about a missed opportunity for meeting a celebrity. I know, maybe not Crosby, I know.
I
but
did
just,
meet David Crosby, and at the
did.
time I did not have his name tattooed on my arm, so I didn't have to explain that.
That's my dog's name. That's what you would have said.
Yeah, right, security. However, I do have a tattoo of a David Crosby song up here called Page 43, and I showed him that, and I thought this could go one of two ways, you know. And he was really cool about it. And he like said, "Man, I really dug that you did that." And I was like,
Aww.
"Thank God I didn't have this there, because that would have been over the top." But,
I love you, Mr. Crosby.
yeah. I don't have a problem really.
Single white male.
That's right. That's right. Hey, remember that time? Remember the time you were in the Beatles? But no, I actually, a quick story. You said a missed opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually met two celebrities that I met and didn't realize. I've had relatively long conversations with both Norah Jones and Jewel, and knew not at the time that it was Norah Jones or Jewel. They're two separate occasions. So they probably thought, oh, either the coolest guy on the planet, like he didn't make a big deal, or what an idiot. It's probably somewhere between that.
They're unassuming ladies, I'd say.
Yeah.
You know, they're not flashy.
They were. Norah Jones, I should have known it was her. It was at her concert. She was backstage. She was wearing a baseball hat. Was having dinner at a table with a group of people. A friend of mine worked on her production crew. And, you know, near the end of the dinner, she goes, oh, have you met Norah? And I've been sitting there talking with her, you know, hair pulled back, baseball hat. I was like, no, I just thought she was really cool.
Oh, you were the one on stage, right.
Oh, yeah. You were really good.
Thank you for performing.
But no, I had the opportunity to almost go to Burt Bacharach's house for dinner one time, which would have been the bomb. I mean, I had a friend who is still best friends with Burt's wife in Aspen. She said, oh, you should come over for dinner. And
it just didn't pan out. It was through no fault of my own. Believe me, I was ready. I was
What the world needs now is a dinner bell. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like raindrops keep falling. Hello. Anyway, that would have been, and I've met a few, I guess celebrities, mostly people in the music industry. A couple of athletes, but mostly Dr. J. That was a huge one for me. But that's Julia serving for you kids at home.
No kids in here.
He's not a real doctor.
It's like the Pepper or Dre.
He was exactly. Dr. Pepper. That was good. Anyway, yeah, Bert would be the one, because that would have been, I might have stepped around about 47 Grammys to get to the door, but that would have been okay.
Those are the place settings at the
Exactly.
dinner table with your little name on it.
He's not going to miss one, is he?
No. All right, let's keep the good stuff going. Let's have another, and then we've got a treat for everyone. We'll shift gears
There's
just
treats?
a little bit. Yeah. It's Craig's red shoes.
So speaking of stalking, this is my restraining order song, and I wrote this after starting a film. And 5 minutes into the film, I just turned it off and wrote this tune about the actress in the film.
That is speaking
You'll
of
hear
stalking.
who she is right away. Yeah, it's a little restraining order-ish. Where am I?
I want to marry Marisa Tomei. I saw her in a movie just the other day. Those lips, those eyes, that sultry way. I want to marry Marisa Tomei. I want to marry that girl across the aisle. Don't know much about her, but I think she smiled. A thing like that could make my life worthwhile. I want to marry that girl across the aisle. But the truth is I'm afraid to give what's left away. I wanna marry my old girlfriend. Can't nobody see her like the way I can. I picture her now the way we were back when. I wanna marry my old girlfriend. Yeah, but the truth is it's too late, 'cause I let her slip away. I want to marry Marisa Tomei. I saw her in a movie just the other day. In the opening scene, she took my breath away. I want to marry Marisa Tomei. Call me, Marisa.
Just beautiful. If you mentioned her, she's got to reach out.
Yeah, I'm sure she's watching, right?
She's got to. Michael Lille, everyone. This is Shockoe Sessions Live. I'm your host, Reese Williams, and not only do we promote the talent of gifted Richmond musicians, but also citizens who we deem as people of interest. And tonight, our point of interest is Mr. Craig Martin. Good evening.
Good evening.
Mr. Craig Martin is an experienced visual storyteller. He's a filmmaker, a writer. He's got more than 30 years of experience. And again, he looks amazing for his age. He's produced hundreds of projects, both long and short form. And right now, he co-hosts and produced the TV docuseries about global philanthropy called The Good Road. This series explores the world of philanthropy in an edgy way in countries across the globe and will air nationally on public television. It has aired. It's not future tense. In an accompanying podcast called Philanthropology, and he just wrote a book called Confessions of a Philanthropologist. The association here is that a lot of the engineering work for the docuseries and the podcast was done right here at In Your Ear Studios. So good evening to you and your red shoes.
Thank you very much.
We're happy to have you.
Super happy to be back here in Studio A.
Yes. So your book is an irreverent look at philanthropology, the church, doing good, these sorts of things. How far does your irreverence go, I guess would be my first question.
Well, so my parents were Southern Baptist missionaries, and I grew up in Bangkok, Thailand. And I guess if you were a staunch Southern Baptist, you would say it's a little irreverent.
You might could.
I guess you could. There's a little bit of profanity, which, first of all, that's the first strike against me. But it really is kind of a raw look at, what happens overseas in the world of philanthropy. Some good, some bad, mostly good. Most of the things that we do, even on the TV show, are meant to highlight the good in the world because, everybody's kind of sick of the bad.
And expand on philanthropy. I think a lot of times people think that it might just be a donation, but your boots on the ground with the missionary work.
It's funny because it's not just missionary work. We on the TV show we did a story about a couple in Uganda, a neonatologist and a anesthesiologist, Adam and Kathy, from the UK. When we asked them why they were motivated to live out in this remote village out in the middle of nowhere, kind of in Uganda. And by the way, I hate saying that phrase. I got to drop saying in the middle of nowhere because it's somewhere for somebody, right? But we asked them, why do you do this? Is it, for some spiritual reason or whatever? They're like, no, we're atheists. And so there's an aspect of that that's so exciting to me to find people who just do the good because they know it's the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm. And how do you find everything you've seen around the world between the docuseries and writing the book? How does that tie into what's going on right now in this amazing revolution?
Well, it's interesting because we were talking about season 2 of The Good Road, and we're planning to do an episode in my hometown here in Richmond, Virginia, and I'm excited about that. And we were just out at the Lee Monument the other day filming some good, really close friends of mine. And it is a crazy time to be alive. It's a crazy time to be in Richmond. There's a lot of controversy, but I will tell you that, we talk about charity and philanthropy as a messy business, and anybody who thinks that the issues are clean and easy, it's not the case. In the case of the current COVID crisis and, the George Floyd incident that sparked all this outrage, justified outrage, it has dominated the conversation here in Richmond, but at the same time, there's a lot of great conversations going on right now, which excites me.
Long overdue conversations. I wasn't sure if we were able to put it up on the feed itself, but if we can get a shot of your book cover, and you have to talk about this artwork because it is
the shameless plug for the book.
Hey, right over here.
Shameless
it's
plug
amazing.
For the book.
This is why you're interesting at the moment, Craig.
Actually, my co-host and best friend Earl wanted me to call this book something differently. Holy, and you might imagine what the rest of that is. But no, this painting on the front was actually a replica painting was done by my sister-in-law, Ana Rosa Rivera. My wife's Puerto Rican, and her brother and his wife are artists in Puerto Rico. And she painted this on my 31st birthday, which was just like 2 days ago. No, I'm just kidding.
Again?
Again and again and again. No, so she painted this, and I love it because it's me as the Madonna, but instead of me holding the baby Jesus, it's a camera. And so I just love the idea of that because, and somewhere on the back here, I say something about, the camera saved my life, and it has saved a lot of other lives, which honestly, the camera means a lot to people right now. And if we didn't have video, for instance, of the killing of George Floyd, you may not know exactly what happened. So
Right.
the camera, in a lot of ways, is a tool that allows people to see the realities of life. And for years, I've used it as a way to hopefully help people.
And absolutely. So would you say the cover is sacrilege or blasphemy? Which,
Well, if you're a good Southern Baptist, you believe that Catholics, which my wife was raised in a Catholic home, don't quite understand the good book. But so it's a little both, I think.
and most importantly, since you've traveled, you've been all over the globe, the world, what weird food combinations do you enjoy most?
So weird food combinations. So I guess probably the craziest food combination was monkey ground up in a in a like a spaghetti marinara sauce. But I will say I don't want to tell that story very often these days. I literally was
It's
in a
out there
place where
now.
it was the only thing I could eat. So it wasn't like I actively went out and killed a monkey. That was in West Africa.
Well, you've got a lot of fans online too. Everybody is digging your shoes. Is this your trademark? Do I not know?
It kind of is. It's
Okay,
kind of my
okay.
trademark. Yeah.
Okay, we had no idea.
It's great because, if you just say, like, look at the, slightly overweight or maybe, heavily overweight, older white
Rubenesque.
guy, that's one thing. If you've never met me and you want to meet me in for coffee and we're going to talk business, I can always say, I'm the guy with the red shoes. And, anyway.
I say Rubenesque. That's
Rubenesque.
the artistic
I like that.
term, right?
The Thai word, because Craig talked Thai. The Thai word, the Thai word for if you don't want to say uan, which means fat, you say I'm sombun. Sombun means like healthy. I'm really healthy.
Yeah.
Like I've eaten well.
You can help people move real well.
Yes.
Yeah. You're the guy people call when they need to move. And where can people go to get information on The Good Road, on the podcast, on the book?
So go to, really honestly, the best place to go is thegoodroad.tv is our main website. And off of that, you can splinter off to philanthropology.tv. You can find my book on our website. But please, and sorry, Michael, I've kind of taken over the show.
No, I'm enjoying
This is
it.
part of
I'm
the show.
enjoying this.
I am
This is the show.
loving this. Isn't he amazingly
Isn't this
talented?
great?
I'm enjoying hearing you speak, man. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you.
How lucky in a beautiful setting, intimate setting like this. We're VIPs. This is the VIP room. All of it.
I will say, and this
Can
is
we do
really,
this every night?
I think this is important to everybody in this room. I know it is, but people like Carlos and Andrea and Paul and Terry, this place is a special place. And it has, for me, become, I'll get emotional, but I won't. It's become kind of a sacred place because I just love the people in here. They helped us do all the audio post-production on our show. Carlos and Andrea helped with the podcast. Carlos produced it. So very special place.
Woohoo!
So exciting to be here tonight. So thank you.
Yay in your ear. And we have Cal who's sitting here. He's a musician as well. I don't know how great the sound will be, but Cal is a musician as well. He's a friend of Michael's. We have Kyle. He's a musician as well. He's a friend of Michael's.
Yeah, this
I know
is great.
Kyle will be performing at some point. Do you have aspirations of performing at Shockoe Sessions Live, Cal?
Absolutely. Feel
Okay.
free.
We have people budding and working towards it. That's amazing. Well, let's get back to the music. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Lille.
Thank you, Reese.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. That was really interesting. I just put it together who you were. So, because
It
Carlos
clicked.
has told me a lot about you. And he didn't mention the red shoes. See, had he mentioned that, I would have known right away. So that's really cool. And I've spent a little time over in that part of the world. And, man, it's just fascinating. I was an avid whitewater paddler for about 15 years and got to go to the Himalayas a bunch. And, of course, you always go through Bangkok on the way to Nepal or Bhutan. And it's really extraordinary to get to see other parts of the world and not just in the pages of a magazine. It really changes the way you feel about, and we're in this global, pandemic and problem now that is a world problem. And it's just interesting to get overseas and see how other people live and eat and their culture. And so I want to chat with you a bunch more.
Absolutely.
So where are we, Reese? One more tune?
I wanted you to play one more, but we got a great message from your partner who says it's in your Earl, not in your ear. From Earl Bridges.
Nice. He's going to need to add another letter. That's easy.
Oh, rebranding? Really?
This
Now?
really is a special place. And thanks again to, I worked on that famous Unknowns record with Carlos and Paul, and it's so great to reunite with them and see the folks here at In Your Ear. And then that was in a different building, and this is in a new studio where I've had a chance to do some work too. And you mentioned at the top of the show we were dedicating the show to our friend Velpo Robertson, who we lost yesterday, and I'd like to send this last tune out to him and his family and loved ones and fans, because he was Carlos and I were talking. He's one of the greatest guitar players. It's not a household name nationally, but boy, what a monster player. And I was inspired every time I got to hear him play, and the handful of times I got to play with him. So yeah, we're gonna miss Velpo. Mm-hmm. So thanks to everyone here for coming out to the 3 C's, Craig, Kyle, and Cal.
Why, thank you.
So I should play.
Please entertain us once again.
All right,
please.
so we'll send this one up to Velpo. This is a relatively new song, and it's about home.
Well, today I felt like me again for the first time in forever. You snuck up like a long-lost friend, and nothing but a promise of a change in the weather to guide me on my way back home again. When you feel you've reached the bottom, but you keep on sinking down, and the light that shines within you's growing dim, let those who love you hold you dear and turn you back around and guide you on your way back home again. Never has it felt so fine to roll between the Georgia pines, up the coast of Carolina, 100 miles to go. And the ocean pounds against the bay, where memories of sunburned days take me to the only home I've known. Well, never has it felt so fine to leave the sunshine, stay behind, into the open arms of kindness, the perfect place to fall. Forever friends and family ties, a welcome sign for weary eyes. Virginia is for lovers after all. I've wandered down the road less traveled nearly all my life, with a hunger for what lies around each bend. But with every passing year it seems the mystery loses shine. So let this be the day that I come back to stay and guide me on my way back home again. Back home again. Home again.
Thank you.
Just beautiful, beautiful. Well, that is our show for tonight. So thank you, Michael Lille. Thank you, Craig Martin. Thank you for our gallery. for being here. We actually had people in studio and we were responsible about it, and that's exciting. Thank you for everyone behind the scenes. We've got Carlos, Andrea, Matthew, Tim, Paul, Terry, myself, and very importantly, thank you to the audience at home for tuning in and donating and sharing and just being a part of it. I mean, it's just a great experience to just settle in and curl up and be entertained in the privacy of your own home. Next week, our performer will be Kobe Batty and the Rhythm Masters. I'm not quite sure who our person of interest will be, but they should be intriguing. So tune in next Tuesday at 7:30. Make it a weekly ritual. You grab your refreshment, you grab your pet, you grab your spouse in that order, and you plop down on the sofa, and you just chill for about an hour. And we'll entertain you from In Your Ear Studio in Studio A. And that's a wrap. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.
Thank you, Reese.